With chest tack quality that rivals only the likes of Chris Dawkins and Jamal Hill, Diego Lopes is coming into this one ready to conceive, believe, achieve, and come in on short notice and try to pull off the upset. I'm going to say of the century, meet, because Movsar Evloev is a guy who is 16-0, has gone through literally everyone that he has faced in the UFC. Light work, besides on paper that split decision to Nick Lentz, and nonetheless, it was, I thought, should have been unanimous. That not sure how any judge gave that to the Carney, but that's the only blemish you can say on Evloev's record, and everything else has just been light work, right? Mike Grundy, Barzola he sent to Bellator, Hakeem Dawodu, and then most recently and probably most impressively, a unanimous victory over Dan 50K Ige, and that was back in June of last year. So it's been nearly a year since we've seen Movsar, and we know the story, right? He was supposed to fight against Bryce Mitchell in this one. Bryce Mitchell made it into the first episode of Embedded, but a couple days later he is out, and in steps Diego Lopes, who is getting a beautiful opportunity and is a guy who definitely is game. Even if he comes into this one and gets ragdolled for 15 minutes, you have to respect the guy for stepping into this one on a main event against, or excuse me, on a main card against Movsar Evloev, who is a guy that nobody is trying to fight. I mean, it's him, Topuria, and that's about it. Like, you're not trying to touch either of those guys at 145. So we like what we've seen from Diego Lopes. Like, he seems like a guy who deserves this opportunity. He's 21-5, right? So even though he's still pretty young at 28, he has a lot of professional fight experience, and he's one of those guys who is pretty well-rounded. So he's going to need everything he's got to try and take out Evloev in this one. Any chance you're going to roll with Diego Lopes, and do you think that he's going to dream, believe, and make this happen?
Yeah, this is a very fun fight. Exciting fight because we don't really know much about Diego unless you're a sweaty and you remember him on Dana White Contender Series where sadly he didn't get the contract as we know because this is his debut and he lost to unanimous decision versus Burrito, and Burrito's been actually putting a tear in lately where he took out Andre Fili, knocked him out, and then submitted Lucas Alexander, but he did lose to Bill Alju, so that's kind of the level we're going versus right now. Diego versus Movsar? Is Movsar, Andre Fili level? I don't know. I think Movsar might be the future GOAT. So this is going to be a very sad fight to watch. I mean, this kid couldn't win in the Dana White Contender Series. How is he going to beat this absolute savage Russian that is undefeated? And that's why I'm picking him. Because Diego has the luck and power and momentum on his side. So I think Diego gets a knockout first round. He hasn't looked good in any of his past 5 fights, but that's why he'll probably win for the upset. So I'm picking him.
So hold up, mate. If I'm following this one, we don't think that he's looked great in any of his last 5 fights, but
Correct.
he's going to come in and absolutely light work starch Movsar Evloev, who is a guy who's 16-0 and has never even appeared threatened in a UFC contest. Explain this one a little bit further to me. You're picking Lopes?
Yeah, I'm picking Lopes because those odds are too juicy. There's no reason not to throw $20 at least on that big of an underdog when, he's got a puncher's chance. He's got 11 submissions, 6 knockouts, so he can get it done even on the ground. Maybe he gets a lucky submission. Movsar couldn't prepare for him, right? This is such a last second notice, and sometimes you just need an absolute killer young kid that is going to do some wild stuff that you can't prepare for, and Diego doesn't need to prepare for Movsar because he's just going to go out and try to knock him out ASAP.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need it. I don't envision a world where Evloev drops a decision to this guy, and truthfully, I don't envision a world where he drops a KO loss either, but nonetheless, a very bullish take from you for sure. If we look at Tapology, 97% is rolling with Movsar. 3% is rolling with Diego Lopes. That is his friends and family, and that does include meat as well. So there is a slight sliver that is rolling with Lopes to make a debut statement in this one against Movsar. But I don't know, meat. Obviously, plus 600 is juicy, minus 900 is not. But I tend to think that this is just one of those fights where the odds make sense. You stay away from it because it's going to be pretty easy work for Movsar to get this one done. And I think, if anything, the play might be Movsar by finish because Movsar in the UFC has been essentially a decision machine. and maybe he's due for a finish, and it would be his first finish in the UFC. So you could be getting some, I don't want to say juicy numbers, but a little bit juicier than you will for the decision, which is usually what Movsar pulls off. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm taking Movsar by finish, and I guess all I can say, Meat, is thanks for the easy dub. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be that easy, but it should be, and that's why it won't. So throw in the comments, are you with me, Diego Lopes, all the way, or are you taking Evloev?